Hey, Tyler Price here with Style Pro. We are a technology company that has built an app for the working professional. We provide coaching, but today we're not here to talk about Style Pro. We're here to talk about Skyline Barber in Idaho Falls, Idaho. I have with me my personal barber, the guy that makes me look as good as I do, and that's a hard freaking task. Anyway, his name's Nick Mason. Him and Mitch own Skyline Barber here in Idaho Falls. It's a barber shop that's been around for
at least 50 years.
50 years, so even older than me. Man, it's a cool shop. If you're ever in Idaho Falls, you need to come by. But here we are in Caprella the Bug. We're going to go for a drive and have a conversation with Nick. So, seatbelts are not being worn. I know someone's going to be pissed off about that, but we are in a Bug. You do want to escape if in a collision.
We're in good company.
Yes,
so.
Yes. So, one thing I always forget, I do this before I start driving. So this is for you. It has the Style Pro logo and insignia on it, and then it has Caprella the Bug in it. So
very nice.
Yeah, it's kind of a sweet hat, I think. But yeah. So Mitch, or Nick.
You're good. You're good.
See, that's crazy. I just called you Mitch, to be honest.
Happens all day.
But I like Mitch, and you like Mitch,
yes,
right? So
my partner.
He's your partner. So a few years ago, you came over to my house, and we had a conversation because you wanted to get into the beauty space. And we own a couple cosmetology schools in Idaho, and we had a conversation, and it pained me to have to send you away, but the cosmetology school is not the right place for you.
Right.
For what you were saying, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm up to, this is my vision. And so I recommended, hey, you need to go to barber school. So why first off, why did you want to even be in the beauty space and become a barber?
Right. So I wanted to become a barber because I've always grown up loving grooming, men's grooming. I've loved to groom myself. I love...
So this is where Zoe will fix that for me.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. We good?
Well, technical difficulty.
We're back.
We're back.
So, what started me off in the barber industry, why I wanted to become a barber, I've loved men's grooming, and I've loved grooming myself as long as I could. Since the age of 13, when I could grow those, 13-year-old chops.
those
We've all had
hairs,
those,
right?
yeah, the chin hairs that made us men. I love taking care of that, and I was in school, several different colleges, universities, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and it kind of hit me that I wanted to do something that not a lot of people do, something unique. And through a story which I can get into if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Well, I was taking a speech class, and the speech that I chose to do was about the history of shaving, which is actually fairly interesting if you care to look it up.
Let's hear it. Yeah. Well, or we can look it up.
Yeah.
History of shaving.
It was my topic that I chose, and like I said, I was in a speech class for college 101 or whatever, and I felt as I was studying for this speech, the history of shaving, that I was more interested in what I was learning about in that speech than what I cared at the time, what I thought my major was going to be.
Right.
And so that kind of set me down a path, looking for, well, what could that be? What could that turn into? And then it just kind of literally struck me, like I wanted to be a barber.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's something that not many people do anymore, something that would be cool, something that would be fun, something I could do for the rest of my life, really. And that's what got me into being barbering.
Yeah.
So literally from that day, I stopped caring about university and started looking into what it'd take to be a barber. And like you said, we've known each other for a while. Our family has known each other, and you're the most knowledgeable person that I know in my life personally about the beauty industry, the hair industry. So I came to you, like you said, and said, what do I do? And you definitely pointed me towards barber school, and you told me there's a couple options. There's one in Boise, and there's one in Salt Lake, and I weighed my options and went from there. And like I said, I quit school and became a barber.
Yeah. And so you're married. Your wife had to buy into it too.
She did. I had to talk to her, and she's super supportive. She was kind enough and is awesome enough to want to just, you know, literally pack up and move, go to a new city to explore what I wanted to do. So I'm grateful that she's been very supportive in that aspect.
No, you definitely did well for yourself there.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
So then you went to school in Salt Lake. My friends now own the Boise Barber College, because at the time, it's not that I discouraged you from the Boise Barber College, but had my friends owned it then, I definitely would have pushed you hard towards the Boise Barber College, because Nikki Martin does a great job over there. But so does Steve, or is it Steve, or what's his name?
Oh, Tim Height, the barber school in Salt Lake. That's where I went.
Does a great job. Now I have friends that own barber schools, and they're now going to be all mad at me because I'm not mentioning them. But you went to school, and you graduated, and you went down to St. George, Utah.
Yes.
I like to see my graduates end up with someone that kind of puts them under their wing and mentors them along. Did you have that when you showed up to the first shop that you started working at?
I did. In fact, I had other barbers before that while I was in school, or even before I started school. One of my mentors was a barber by the name. His name actually is Steve Rockazilla.
Yeah.
Owns a shop in Springville, Utah, the Refinery Barber Shop. He was my barber. I would travel, and this should be a shout out to all good barbers. I would drive here from Idaho Falls to Springville, Utah.
Which is how far away?
It's
like 4 hours. 4 hours,
just to get a haircut from this man.
Wow.
Because I liked him as a person, first of all, but he also gave the best haircut I've ever had in my life. And he knew I wanted to be a barber, and so he was kind of a mentor for me. He went to the school that I went to, and he told me what I needed to know, how to get in good, and how to progress swiftly through school, what I needed to know, and then how to proceed afterwards. So I would say he was my first real mentor.
Good.
Steve Rockazella. And then, like you said, after school, I had the opportunity to go to St. George, Utah, and work for a very, very talented barber by the name of Isaac Lejos. He owns the St. George Barbershop down there. And I would say, as far as mentor goes, what I learned in school was this much. Isaac taught me in the first 3 months out of school 1,000 times more.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say to barbers in the future. You know, you learn a lot in school, and you definitely need that great foundation from school, from mentors, but you learn so much more hands-on in your first few months of actually working in the shop.
There's definitely school, and then there's real world. And schools do their best to promote the real world, but they have all these other outside forces against them almost, with you know, kind of defending school owners maybe a little bit. We have state agencies, we have federal agencies, we have all these things that kind of almost distract us from what we're trying to do in terms of mentoring our students.
You have to be an educator there, whereas in the shop with the mentors, you can be an educator, but you're a barber, and you know, you can give that experience. So
then you were there in St. George, and you were there for a couple years?
Just one. Just
1 year.
Yep.
And then you and Katie decided, okay, we're going to go back to Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
And now you're back. So why did you make that choice? I mean, you'd been in a big city, then you went to kind of a little bit bigger than where we're at, maybe about the same size city. And now you're back in a small market. So why come back?
Well, this is, I guess, first and foremost, this is my home. This is where I grew up. This is where I wanted to be. We don't have kids yet, but this is where I wanted to make my future home for my family. But also I wanted to set out for myself. In St. George, I worked for somebody, worked in his shop, and that was great. But I kind of wanted, I mean, as I'm sure all barbers, stylists, cosmetologists, I'm sure anybody in this industry wants to do, they want their own thing, they want their own show. And I figured I'd combine the two and make that here in Idaho Falls my home. So I wanted to come home, and I wanted my own thing.
Yeah. So as a teenager, were you ever like, I want to leave this town, or were you always, I like it here?
You know, I think I might be the exception to that. I know my partner and I, we disagree on this thing. He's told the story. In fact, he moved to Florida for about 6 years, right after high school. We're about the same age, and I didn't do that. I love it here in Idaho Falls. I love Idaho, and so I've always loved it here, and I'm happy to be back.
No, and you know, when I married my wife, she's from Idaho Falls, and I said, there's no way I will ever live in Idaho Falls, and here we are 10 years having lived here, and what a great place it is, and there's a lot of great cities, but but definitely in terms of a great place to live, I love it here too. So you came back, you bought an established practice, basically a shop, but really there's some things that you guys did that brought up the bar. What were, you know, when you look at it, what were some things when you came into that shop that you said, okay, we have to do this maybe a little different, but we definitely want to build off of the name that's been here?
Off of Like I said, the shop's been there since the late 50s. 57 was our latest estimate, or earliest estimate from the owner of the building. So it's had the name, it's had the community recognition, it's had that fun nostalgia about it. But what we did differently, and this might be advice for future barbers, future professionals, you got to be there. You can't make money, you can't build a business if you're just messing around, if you do it part-time, or if you do it on the side. If you are serious about this, you plain and simple have to be there. You know, you got to be in the shop. If you don't have appointments, if you're doing walk-ins kind of a thing, you got to be there waiting for that to happen. Right. And it just, in my experience, it just takes off from there.
It's almost like you will it, but if you're not there, it's not gonna. I mean, because I think a lot of people, stylists and barbers, might say, "Oh, I don't have any appointments. I'm not going to go in." If you go in, it's almost like you will someone to walk through that.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
Door. So
the second you leave is the second someone shows up. Absolutely.
So you got into it. You graduated school. You went out. You worked. You came back. You and Mitch partnered up, and you're building on a legacy. But what's kind of different maybe from what you thought life was going to be like to the reality of being working in a barbershop?
What's different? Well, I didn't, from a business owner standpoint, I didn't expect the state to seemingly be against you, and I hope that doesn't send people knocking on our door. But
they're going to investigate now.
Yes, let them come, I guess. We're prepared. It's difficult to balance being a professional and being a business owner, and I'm sure my partner would agree with me. That's the worst part about it. Is we just, you know, we want to cut hair, we want to give service to people, and having to deal with the taxes and the, you know, the requirements of the state and what's cool and what's not cool. That seems to be stifling. So that's something I didn't expect. I mean, I should have expected that, but
because a lot of times people just kind of sit back and think about the people coming into their shop, the exchange with their clients, getting paid, having fun,
just doing the work,
right? So it's all the other extra back office stuff that really nobody wants to do, but it still has to get done, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, so barbering, I mean, it was on its way out.
Yes.
There were old-time barbers, and they were just retiring or passing away, or, you know, whatever. And then there's been a resurgence. So what do you kind of think, where's barbering headed? Because to me, as you kind of stated, you liked grooming, and I guess I see more men kind of taking pride in their beard or their haircut, and then the younger kids, man, they do not want a hair out of, and I'm talking like 7-year-olds do not want a hair out of place, right? So where do you think where barbering has kind of come recently? Where do you think it's going? Why do you think the resurgence? What's your opinion on that?
I think barbering went out of vogue because styles changed through the 60s and 70s and 80s, and traditional barbers just couldn't keep up with the styles. And why it's coming back is a lot of those styles have definitely come back, that clean cut look, but in the interim, in the meantime, you had to get your hair cut somewhere as a guy. You had to go somewhere, and places like, well, we all know the places, the corner stores, there's a million of them that we can name. They had to fill the need, and guys just went there. They went to their wife's or mom's salon or something like that. And why barbering is coming back so heavy, so hard, is because guys have learned that that's impersonal. Those kinds of experiences. Yeah. They want to go somewhere that they know the person that's going to cut their hair, and they know the quality that they're going to get. That
it's their guy,
their
girl.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they're barber. They're professional. They know their story. They know that they know your story, or you know their story. You're familiar.
Right.
And not only that, but the quality of work is not going to change over time, because you're getting somebody different each time. I think guys or people are looking for that, the familiar. I love having a guy, like not just a haircut guy, and I know you're the same way.
Yeah.
I got a guy for that. I got a plumber. I got a lawyer. You got to have a guy for that.
Yeah.
And your grooming should be the exact same way. You should have your guy for that.
Yeah.
And I think most guys are coming back around to that idea. I've been craving that idea.
No, and my wife cuts hair and cut my hair for a number of years, and now I go to you, and she's not offended by that. Right. But it's not like I have to go to you, right? I have options, but it's more coming into the shop. It's seeing Mitch. It's seeing you. I like the vibe, and I don't ever ask you for a discount either. I expect to pay full price when I come in, right?
Right.
So, and I appreciate good work. So, and I think that you see that with guys. They want to look good. They want to feel good, and barbers are really doing just a great job. Cool stuff going out. So,
and I think you brought up something else that is great. Is the magic? I call it the magic of the barbershop. It's the nostalgia. It's the feel. It's not only is it your guy, but it's your place.
Yeah.
It feels good in there. It smells good in there.
Yeah.
It reminds you of simpler times, better times, happy times, where it's just your relax. It's almost like a spa type experience.
Yeah.
And definitely at our shop, and I know many other barber shops try to cultivate that.
Yeah.
It's an escape.
Yeah.
It's just in line with going to the movies. Going to get a burger or something. It's a comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. No, cool stuff. So, I want to hear, is there a book or something that you like that you would recommend to people? It doesn't have to be, it can be a fiction book, it can be anything. But I like to ask people, because I like to read and I like to listen to audiobooks, but is there a book that you are either reading now or that you recommend to people?
Just any book?
Yeah, any book.
I know it's, what are we, 2017? It's a couple years out now in the movie and everything, but I really liked The Martian.
Yeah.
By Andy Weir.
So that had Matt Damon in it?
The movie had Matt Damon in it. It's a struggle man on Mars. And, and he had to really science himself out of the situation, to use his words. And I like that. I like, not only was it like an alien planet, but he had to struggle with himself internally. So I don't know, it's a great book.
Yeah.
Really entertaining.
So Martian, science fiction, right?
Yes.
Elon Musk wants to make it become a reality.
Yes, sir.
He has a saying I kind of like, which is Elon Musk wants to die on Mars, just not on impact. So I think that's kind of funny. And
that is funny.
And he wants to go to Mars, and he's a guy that I think will get that done. But so advice though, because you got kids that are out there that are like you, that are, I want to go do this.
Sure.
And you got supporting parents, and not everybody does.
Yep.
Okay, so not everybody has a network that's there saying, yeah, you should become a barber. That sounds like a great idea. He has a much nicer bug than I do, by the way. But so what advice then do you have to someone that's maybe saying, I really want to do that, but are holding themselves back from taking that step? And then once you take that step, what more advice would you give them?
I think to the first part, I think that's what life is. You gotta experience things. You gotta step outside your comfort zone. You gotta explore. Life's not high school. Life's not any school. You gotta actually take steps forward to further yourself and progress. And And I personally believe that's the purpose of life, is to progress. So as to your first part of the question, I think you just got to take a chance. Anything starts with a question, so you gotta see what you want to see how you can get it. As far as advice for those in school or those about to start school or those after school, really in this profession, I believe in any profession, you got to be a sponge always.
Yeah.
You can't turn yourself off to any idea. I was taught in school a very strict way. This is how you cut this. This is how you do this kind of thing. But once you're out of school, that's not how everybody cuts.
Yeah.
I learned that very quickly, that there's other ways to do things. I mean, the phrase, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Well, there's certainly more than one way to shave a head, to skin a man, you know, to cut hair.
Yeah.
So well, first of all, absorb everything you can from everybody in school, especially your instructors, because they do have your best interests, hopefully.
Yeah.
But also anybody else out there that might be offering something, you know, to grab at it and see how you can apply it into your business or your life. Just take it all and see if you can adapt with it.
Yeah. I think that's so true. Being willing to make changes and progress and just adapt to whatever needs to be adapted to, because in barbering it's not always going to be high and tights, and
definitely not.
We're definitely going to see a movement here, and there had Angel Del Solar, our on as a friend, and he talked about some things that we may be seeing
down the road, sure.
that will definitely be hitting, that barbers need to be able to adapt to, right?
Absolutely, and that might be a reason why barbering sort of started to decay in the past, is that just you couldn't adapt with the styles as they changed.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to cut longer hair versus shorter hair, or do things like that. And so again, that's what I say, you got to be moldable.
Yeah,
you got to be a sponge.
I think you know, my generation and older kind of bash on your generation a little, right? Don't we?
Oh yeah.
And like when we were your age, we had all our shit together. When we didn't.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the thing I'll say is that, you know, here you are out there working hard, willing to make changes, willing to better yourself, and because of that, the barbering in Idaho Falls, you're a part of that movement that kept barbering in Idaho Falls, and you know, that's a big deal. So anyway, for what it's worth. So anyway, Nick Mason with Skyline Barber, doing cool stuff over there. If you're ever in Idaho Falls, or if you're in Idaho Falls, I highly recommend these guys. They do great work. They have a new kid, Bo. That's a new thing for you. A new mentor, well, a kid that you guys are mentoring now, which I think is fantastic. Definitely give them a look if you're in the area. Remember, Style Pro for stylists and barbers. Yep, right there. Always looking for people to come on and drive around in my bug and just talk about whatever. And but we offer coaching. We have technology. I sit down with Nick and talk about their business and give them what I think they should do, and then they're the ones that have to go do it, and they're doing cool stuff over there. So anyway, congratulations on keeping barbering alive in Idaho Falls, and appreciate that. And thanks for listening. Have a great day.